Hello guys and welcome back to Football Talks. You know what's going about? Today's video is based on one of the icons of the game. A story that has not been shared, a character that hasn't been appreciated enough, and a man whose love and passion for the game was forgotten. Pele, Maradona, Cruyff, Zidane, Xavi, Iniesta, Ronaldinho are all common names for the fans of football. But one name that is often missing in these iconic characters list is the man to be discussed today. We are talking about none other than the Portuguese superstar Eusebio. Eusebio had everything. He was blessed with explosive speed and strength, but he balanced his sheer athleticism with delicate quick feet. He had beauty for pace and strength and then skill for good measure. But what set Eusebio apart was his eye for goal. In 440 competitive games for Benfica, he scored a frankly ridiculous 473 goals. It was a little bit more than your 20 goal a season man. Almost as extraordinary as Eusebio's goal scoring record was the manner in which his professional career unfolded in the first place. He grew up in Mozambique, then a Portuguese colony, and spent his teenage years playing for Sporting Club de Lourenço Marques, a feeder club of Sporting CP. In Eusebio's hometown of Lourenço Marques, word spread about this electric young star with the magical feet. He was watched by ex-Brazil player José Carlos Bau, who gave a glowing assessment of the youngster while chatting to Benfica coach Bela Gutmann in a barbershop in Lisbon. Gutmann got himself on the first plane to Mozambique in order to witness his young prodigy in the flesh. He persuaded Eusebio to sign for Benfica right under the noses of rivals Sporting. When he arrived in Portugal, Eusebio was forced to hide out in a remote fishing village as Benfica feared their rivals were plotting a kidnap operation. Eusebio had to wait 5 months for his Benfica debut, and such was the strength of the side in the 1960s. At an invitational tournament in France in the summer of 1961, the Portuguese club caught a glimpse of just what a player they had on their hands. Losing 4-0 in the final to Pele Santos, Benfica brought on 19-year-old Eusebio in the second half. He scored a 17-minute hat-trick and won his side a penalty. The victory was ultimately Santos's, but the front and back pages of newspapers were all Eusebio. The following year, Eusebio's first season in professional football, Benfica stormed to European glory for the second year on the trot. They beat a fabulous Real Madrid in the final with Alfredo Di Stefano and Ferenc Puskás lining up for Los Blancos. Puskás scored a hat-trick, but Eusebio grabbed a brace as Benfica ran out 5-3 winners. The pair swapped jerseys at full time, and football's present great passing the baton over to football's future. During this time at Benfica, Eusebio helped his side to 11 Premier Liga titles in 15 years, with Eusebio winning the 1965 European Footballer of the Year, which is none other than the Ballon d'Or we know today. Despite enjoying a decade and a half of incredible domestic success, it is Eusebio's remarkable performances at one World Cup that has immortalized him in football history. Portugal headed to England for the 1966 World Cup with Eusebio at the peak of his powers. The forward was the star of the tournament, winning the Golden Boot as he hit 9 goals in just 5 matches. Eusebio scored 2 goals as Portugal beat Pele's Brazil in the group stages, one of which was a stunning volley from the tightest angles. North Korea waited in the quarterfinals. What unfolded is one of the greatest games in World Cup history, with Eusebio at its very core. The underdogs raced into the lead 3-0, but Portugal's talisman was on hand to bring this country back from the brink. Eusebio scored 4 times to complete a remarkable comeback as Portugal booked their place in the last 4. The semi-final against host England was conveniently moved from Goodison Park, the scene of Portugal's North Korea triumph, to Wembley, while the English authorities Portugal eventually lost 2-0 with Eusebio inconsolable at full time. For a serial winner, Eusebio lost well too. In the 1968 European Cup final against Manchester United, the strike was bearing down on goal in the dying minutes, with the two sides inseparable. He was presented with the golden opportunity to win the game, but fired the ball straight at United keeper Alex Stepney. Despite the stakes, pressures and magnitude on the occasion, he put his arm around Stepney and applauded him for the save. Let us remind you that Eusebio is the second highest goal scorer behind Alfredo Di Stefano in the pre-Champions League era of the European Cup with 48 goals. He was the European Cup top scorer in 64-65, 64-66 and 67-68. He also won the Bola de Prata from the Premier Liga top scorer a record 7 times. He was the first player to win the European Golden Boot in 1968, a feat he replicated in 1973. From his retirement until his passing, Eusebio was an ambassador for football and was one of the most recognizable faces of his generation. His name often appears in best player of all time lists and polls by football critics and fans. He was elected the 9th football of the 20th century by a poll conducted by IFFHS and the 10th best footballer of the century in a poll by the World Soccer magazine. Pele named Eusebio as one of his 125 best living footballers in his 2004 FIFA 100 list. He was 17th in the online poll for UEFA Golden Jubilee poll. In November 2003, to celebrate UEFA's Jubilee, he was selected as the Golden Player of Portugal by the Portuguese Football Federation as their most outstanding player for the past 50 years. Shortly after Eusebio's passing, Di Stefano stated, "For me, Eusebio will always be the best player of all time." With a shot as powerful as any seen in the history of football, magnificent pace, he could run 100 meters in less than 11 seconds, and the ability to outwit many defenders on the day, the Black Pearl took Portuguese football to a level that it had never seen before. Talking about individual awards, he received a number of individual accolades and awards while playing for Benfica. He was the 1965 European Footballer of the Year, which is the Ballon d'Or we all know and love today, and finished as runner-up twice in 1962 and 1966, and in 1968 was the first winner of the Golden Boot Award as Europe's leading scorer, a feat he repeated 5 years later. He was the Portuguese First Division's top scorer 7 times, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 70 and 73, helping Benfica to win 11 Premier Ligas in 1960, 61, 62, 63, 63, 64, 64, 65, 66, 67, 67, 68, 68, 69, 70, 71, 71, 72, 72, 73 and 74, 75, including 5 Portuguese Cups, which was in 61, 62, 63, 64, 68, 69, 69, 70 and 1971, including 1 European Cup win in the 1961-62 campaign and 3 European Cup finals, 62-63, 64-65 and 67-68, and Eusebio scored 473 goals in 440 official matches for Benfica, including 317 goals in 301 Premier Liga matches and 59 goals in 78 matches of UEFA club competitions. Overall, he scored 727 goals in 715 matches wearing Benfica's jersey. Eusebio was exceptional. He was the first truly great African footballer, treating the path from poverty to the very top of the game that so many others would follow. He played with purity and flair and epitomized everything that makes the game so beautiful. But unfortunately, his love and passion for the game was forgotten. And that is the purpose of this video, honoring legendary characters and icons of the game. That is it for today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you learned something valuable. And I've also shared some extra clips of Eusebio that I'm sure you would love. And that is all from my side. Take care, stay safe and peace.